Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to the series of videos on Majora's Mask Randomizer. So, with the Season 3 discussions being already underway, and weekly starting to have a little bit more people now, and Season 5 of OTR coming to an end, or close to coming to an end, we're pretty much in top 8 right now, or close to it. So I think this was a good moment to start making videos on Majora's Mask Randomizer to help newer players to get into the game. Because Majora's Mask has this reputation of having only terrible checks, which isn't true. There are bad checks, but it's not even close to the majority of them. And it also has a reputation of having a lot of checks that are really, really strict on time and that you can only do between a very short time period and otherwise you're screwed. Which there are some that are like that, but it's nowhere close to being even remotely close to being the majority of them. So, what I wanted to do was go over the game and show every check that is randomized in the current standard settings. Now, discussions for the settings have been going on recently, and the settings are not set in stone right now, but for the most part, the checks are going to be very similar. Like, there's not going to be a lot of change when it comes to checks themselves. If there is a change, I'm just gonna do another video, just showcasing the differences from this video series. So this first part is gonna focus on everything that is inside the Clock Town walls, which is where the like 99% of checks that are, strict on time are. Outside of Clocktown walls, like the timer is never really a factor. I mean, like rarely is. So yeah, let's focus on those checks that are the most annoying to route in. Let's just get them out of the way, and then I'm gonna focus on everything outside the Clocktown walls. All right, so let's get going. So the first thing I want to do here is just to show what Clocktown looks like to the people who've never played the game. So Clocktown is divided into 6 different areas. The one that you start in right now is South Colck Town. So it looks like a construction zone because it is. The people are trying to build this thing right here. Spoiler alert, they never end up doing it. If you go to the bottom right from the point of view of when you load the file, you'll get into this area, this small area that's called the laundry pool. There are a couple checks here, but we'll leave them for later. I just want to show how you can access it. It's only through South Colck Town in this specific area that you can get into laundry pool and leave laundry pool. Alright, next we're gonna go to West Colck Town. So from the point of view, when you load up the save file, if you look on your right, there's an entrance here, and there's another one over there. Both of them lead to West Colck Town. So South Colck Town is the only point in which you can access West Colck Town. So it looks like this corridor with a lot of doors. All of them are shops or mini games, really. All 3 of those are shops. This is the bank right there. I'll get back to it. And yeah, those are 2 mini games. And this door over there, you don't have to worry about it. Nothing in that door is shuffled in standard. So here we're back to South Colck Town. If from the point of view when you load the file, you go to the back wall right here has 1 door, and that door leads to North Colck Town. So it looks like this park area. and it's denser than it looks. There are more checks here than you would think. So again, we'll leave this for now. But from South Colck Town and North Colck Town, you can access East Colck Town right here. So this place that looks very eventful is East Colck Town. It's one of the densest areas in the game in terms of checks. So you can access this through this door, like I showed you, from North Colck Town, or you can go through this door right here that leads to South Colck Town, and this door right here that leads to this entrance right. Sorry, that leads to back to South Colck Town. So all in all, this is what Colck Town looks like. So if you go through here, you'll be back in East Colck Town. So yeah, this looks like this very eventful place. This party time here. There are a couple mini games, like all three of these doors right there are mini games. And there are a couple more things over here. I'll get to it when the time is due. But what I want to, and the last area here is this building right here is the Stockpot Inn. So since Stockpot Inn and East Colck Town are both super dense, they decided to separate the two zones so that if you see a hint that says South Colck Town or East Colck Town blah 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 or Stockpot Inn blah blah blah, Stockpot Inn specifically refers to inside these walls in this inn right here, and East Colck Town is everything outside the inn right here. So we're going to be focusing on Stockpot Inn first. The first check I want to talk about is the room key reservation. It has to do with Miss Anju over here. So Anju very soon is going to leave to cook dinner for her grandmother. And when she comes back from cooking lunch for her grandmother, you will be able to talk to her and get the room key reservation. So there she leaves. She's gonna cook lunch for her grandmother, who is right here. I'm kind of gonna skip it, but the dialogue is pretty funny if you want to read it on your own. So after giving lunch to her grandmother, she's gonna be back here at around 1:50 on day one. This check is specifically on day one, and it's between 1:50 and 4:15 p.m. And it's crucial that you do not talk to Anju before she comes back on the counter after giving lunch to her grandmother. It is super important. Just gonna prepare for the next one. So if you talk to her here, then she will ask you if you have a reservation. You say yes. And there you go. She's gonna give you an item. Again, this is one of probably top 2 most annoying checks to route in the game. And it's one of the most important, I think, to get out of the way as early as you can. Specifically because it is hard to route again. So what's important is you cannot, I repeat, you cannot talk to Anju before she comes back. Otherwise, you have to play Song of Time and you will miss this check. And to do it again, you'll have to play Song of Time. She's gonna ask you, are you staying the night, instead of asking you if you have a reservation. And this is gonna change everything. So be careful. Be careful. So the next check I want to talk about is Midnight Meeting. So this check requires this kind of terrifying mask right here. And so you need to talk to Anju to set up the meeting. However, there's a very specific time frame that you need to talk to Anju. This postman right here, you're gonna see, is gonna give a letter to Anju. Right here. As you can see it, He's giving the letter to Anju. So once he's gone, if you talk to Anju wearing that mask, because that letter comes from Cafe, so and you see her dialogue is different now. So it's anywhere from I think 2:15 to until she goes back into her room at 9:30, I think, in the evening. As long as you talk to her in that time frame, she will she will set up midnight meeting at 11:30 in the kitchen. But she's gonna be late, and she's only gonna be there at midnight. I don't know why, but she will be late. And from midnight to 6 a.m., so until the next morning, the next day, you can go to the Stockpot Inn at any time to meet her. So, now that this midnight meeting is set up, there are a couple things for this check, because the thing is about the Stockpot Inn is that it closes. It closes at 8:30 p.m. So I just want to show... Okay, so I have the room key on me right now. I'm actually gonna remove it from my inventory. So to access this, the thing is, like I said, the Stockpot Inn closes at 8:30. So at 8:30, Anju will kick you out of the Stockpot Inn, and the door will be locked. There are a couple ways to get into the inn. There's a door on the balcony there that is never locked, even if the Stockpot Inn is closed. So you can access it using this Deku flower right here. If you use this Deku flower, you can access the balcony and logic and get inside. The other way you can do that is with the item that you just saw, the room key that I had, that I had here. This item right here will let you enter the Stockpot Inn at any point. So at any point, even if it's closed, you will be able to walk into the Stockpot Inn. I will show you one or two other ways you can get inside the inn. One of them is with Zora Mask. You can do you can do a gainer here to get onto the balcony, or a way that's a bit slower but that's way more reliable is you can jump from one balcony to the other like this. So I'm gonna show you what happens. I'm gonna remove the room key from my inventory, and you're gonna see what happens. Anju's gonna come here, and at 8:30, she's gonna kick me out. You'll see. Yep, there you go. So the Stockpot Inn is now closed. If I try to enter through this door, it is locked. So come on. Come on. There you go. So, however, this door is never locked. You can always enter, and you will never be kicked out again. So you can talk to Anju, and you can set up midnight meeting up until, oh, I guess 9. Until 9 p.m. Until she goes back into her room, you can talk to her wearing Cafe's mask, and, oh, it's too late. But you can set up midnight meeting at that point. One of the other ways you can get into the Stockpot Inn, by the way, is also with bombs. So if you have bombs, you can do a long jump, which is using the boost from the damage of the bomb to just cross balconies. So that is not in logic, by the way. Crossing from balcony to balcony with either Zora or bombs is not in logic. What is in logic is with the Deku mask here, or if you have the room key in your inventory, look at this. Boom. This door is never going to be locked. So this is how you can do the midnight meeting. So another check in Stockpot Inn is in this room right here. So Stockpot Inn is kind of a labyrinthian, but if you go around here, this place right here in the toilet, at midnight on every single day, there's gonna be a hand that pops out of there. So the hand is gonna be asking for any paper. So any title deed, any of these four, like on my inventory, any of these four, any of the 2 letters will do. So I'm gonna, use express mail for example. So the thing about these papers, the thing about the room key, all 4 papers, the 2 letters, and the moonsteer, independent of memories, but it doesn't matter. All of these items will go away if you play Song of Time. And you need to get them back in their original checks if you play Song of Time. And if you reset the cycle. So here at midnight, there we go. There's a hand right there. On any of the 3 days at midnight up until the morning, so up until 6 a.m., that hand is going to be there. Yay! So you can give the hand any paper, and there you go. That's a check. And now that we're at midnight, Anju is here, and Anju will stay in the kitchen up until the morning, so up until 6 a.m. So it's only on night 1 though, like I said. And there you go. That is the midnight meeting. Alright, we're almost done with the checks here. To show the other checks, I need to be on day 2. So, remember Anju's grandmother? There are 2 checks attached to Anju's grandmother, and they both involved the all-night mask. So the all-night mask is this thing right here. It looks kind of spooky, but what it does is it lets you stay awake during the grandma's stories. So the grandmother has 2 stories that she can read to you. So both of them take time from your in-game clock. The first one takes 2 hours, and the second one takes a full day. So you need to be wary of that. You can only ask the grandmother to read the stories on days 1 and days 2. She's not gonna read the stories on day 3, and she can't read you stories during the night. It's only during the day, and it's only day 1 and 2. So from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So let's go with the first story. So you need to be wearing the all-night mask. It's really important. So see, it was 6:15. You can check back in the video. It was 6:15 before the story, and now it's 8:15. So 2 hours passed. So she's gonna ask you a question to make sure that you didn't fall asleep. And on the first story, you need to answer correctly. You need to use the first answer. So you can basically just mash through. There you go. And on the second story, which lasts till the next morning, she's gonna ask you a question, but she's good. But you have to answer wrong. You have to say that you don't. I don't know why that's the case. It's really stupid, but you have to answer that to finish the check. And there you go. All right. So we're gonna go to. Oh, by the way, if you try, I said it earlier, but if you try to ask the grandma to read stories on day 3, this is what she's gonna say. She's like, "Oh, it's been a long day, and yeah, we're going to ranch, so I'm not gonna read you anything." So that's why you need to ask her to read the stories on days 1 and 2. Alright, so we only have 2 checks to go now. And one of them can only be done, it's at any point on night 3. This is the Sphere 0 check, by the way. So you require absolutely nothing. So remember the room that Anju went in? That we saw Anju go in? You can get into that room at any point during the 3rd night, and there's a chest right there waiting for you. And the last check in Stockpot Inn, remember the room key? I don't have it anymore, but the room key, if you find the room key, wait, there it is. At any point, you'll be able to enter this room right here. At any point during your cycle, once you find the room key, you can enter here. And it's going to give you access to a check. If you do not have the room key in your inventory, you just won't be able to enter. The tattle is going to tell you that you're a crappy person for trying to enter someone else's room. Alright, those are all the checks in Stockpot Inn. If it sounded bad, it's because it kind of is. Stockpot Inn is probably... It is, I think, the worst area when it comes to time-sensitive checks. It's one of the hardest areas to route correctly. Alright, so... Oh, by the way, the Anjuin Cafe trade sequence is not randomized. It is not a check. So you don't have to worry about that in rando. Alright, so now that we're done with Stockpot Inn, let's go with South Colck Town. So South Colck Town compared to Stockpot Inn is really easy. You have a piece of art here that you can get at any time. This item, by the way, you can peek what it is in the opening intro of any seed. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna reset, but you're gonna see that you can peek what this item is during the intro cutscene. Next up, we have this item right here. Oh, wait. Yep, this check right here. So this Deku Scrub wants a moon tier. And to do this check, all you have to do is find the moon tier, go back here, and give him the moon tier. And there you go. That's how you do the check. It really is that simple. So now there are 2 more checks in here that we're gonna go for. There's one here that logically requires the hook shot. So you can hook shot this chest, and there you go. You can access it literally anytime. And there's also a check right here, another chest here. This one is only there during day and night 3. During the whole day and night 3, it's going to be there, and you can just open it at any time. You can access it. My favorite place to access this check is right here in those stairs. You can hookshot this chest fairly easily. And it can also be in logic with the Moonsteer and Deku Mask. You can use this flower to access both of these checks. So here, if you fly, here, however, you have to press A and let go. You have to do it sooner, though, but you have to let... Yeah. If you let go, you're gonna grab the ledge. And you're gonna be able to open this check. And then... the one over there is less intuitive, but it is in logic to use the Deku Flower to reach the top of this roof right there. And then you can just jump to the check. There's another way to get this check out of logic using this. There are a couple setups that exist. I like this one. That you can just jump slash through the roof. It is allowed, and it's not in logic, obviously. You need the hook shot, but it is a way to get this check early. Last check I want to talk about right here is the post box heart piece. What you need to do this check is the postman hat, this cute little hat right here. You just talk to any post box, and it's gonna give you a check. So there's one right here. So yeah, there are 5 mailboxes in Clock Town. One is here. There's another one in South Colck Town. You can see it right here. There are 2 in East Clock Town. One of them is near the mini games here, and the other one is just around the corner here. And the last one is in North Clock Town. Right here. So you just talk to the mailboxes, and it's gonna give you the check. Alright, so this check is not considered any part of Clocktown, but it used to be considered South Colck Town in Season 2, and now it's considered any part of Clocktown. So, it doesn't belong to any region. It's kind of confusing, but it's fine. Alright, now we're gonna move on. Oh, by the way, I'm resetting. I want to show you how you can peek the piece of art in South Colck Town when you load up the game. So you're gonna get this little cutscene here. This scared me so hard when I was a child. That noise. Alrighty, and there it is. You can see what item it is. Alright. Now, I'm gonna talk about West Clock Town and North Clock Town. I think it's good to talk about these 2 regions together. Because there are some checks that you do in one of these areas that directly affects the other. So, I think it's best to talk about them together. Alright, welcome back to West Clock Town. So I'm gonna jump to night 1 here, you'll see. Okay, so our first check here is gonna be the Rosa sisters. So these 2 sisters here, to do this check you need Camaro mask. So what this mask does is it makes you dance. But these 2 ladies over there, they're desperately like trying to find new dance moves, and they're lacking inspiration. So if you just come up here and you just show your dance moves, they are going to be amazed and are going to be really happy to learn new dance moves. By the way, this mask is stupid creepy. Also, this guard over there, I don't know what's his deal, but he seems very interested in what's happening. I don't know why they put that in the cutscene, but it's kind of funny. Alright, so that's a check. So, now our next check here is the postman minigame. I believe this check is only available on day 1, unless you've mailed letter to cafe, then it's available on day 2. I'm not sure. The point of this thing is to count to 10. So this guy's on a super strict schedule, and he has to stand exactly 10 seconds in front of every mailbox before leaving. So he's like, hey, counting to 10 is really difficult. Are you gonna try? So there are a couple ways to do this. You can count to 10. You can use your, if you're racing, you can use your life split timer. You can use the number of triangles that go above the postman's head, which is what I do. So let's see. I think I'm late. Oh, I got it. Okay, never mind. So this check, the way I did it right now, is out of logic. So it is not in logic to do this check. For it to be in logic, you need the bunny hood, or this thing that makes you run fast. Why? Because you've probably noticed that the timer disappeared after 3 seconds. However, if you wear the bunny hood, look what happens. The timer will stay past 3 seconds. So this is the way to logically do the check. But it's actually easier to just not use the bunny hood, or at least that's what I think. Probably all the runners will tell you that. Also, this check takes time from your in-game clock. So right now you can see that it's 7:30, and I did most of that time was during that mini game. So be careful. All right, next check right here is the swordsman school. What you need to do, you need to select the expert course. So this check only requires a sword. You need to check. You need to use the expert course, and you need to jump slash every log. So a jump slash gives you 3 points per log, and a regular slash only gives you 1. So you want to jump slash all of them. This might take some practice because MM's targeting system is pretty bad. So yeah, it might require some practice at first if you're not used to it. Alright, so you need 30 points. So you need to jump slash all 10. Alright. Next up is this shop right here. So this shop has 3 items to sell. Only one of them is a check, which is this one, the bomb bag. It costs 50 rupees, and the 2 other items here are always going to be bomb shoes and bomb drops. This one, however, is going to be different than the bomb bag. It's just, yeah, it's a shuffled item. Keep that in mind, however. It's important to check that item early, and you'll see why once we get to South Colck Town. So in this shop right here, there's nothing shuffled. It's just a regular shop. Those items never change. There's also a scarecrow here if you want to set up Scarecrow Song. By the way, the Scarecrow Song in this game goes away when you play Song of Time. So you have to get back the song every time. There's this next building here. It's Curiosity Shop. I'm gonna talk about it after South Colck Town. You'll see. And finally, in West Colck Town, there's the bank. So the bank has 3 checks. You can this place right here is to deposit money. So you can deposit money, and if you play Song of Time, all the money that you've deposited in the bank will stay there. So, so there are 3 checks attached to this bank. The first one is after depositing 200 rupees. So that check is Sphere 0. You need nothing. Then the second bank is after depositing 500 rupees, which requires 1 wallet in logic. I mean, technically you can deposit 500 rupees, but we decided to be nice about it. So it's only going to be in logic with 1 wallet. And the final check here is 1,000 rupees in the bank, which is behind 2 wallets. So to sum up, 200 rupees, 0 wallets, 500 rupees, 1 wallet, and 1,000 rupees, 2 wallets. So that, for now, that's it for West Colck Town. Now we're gonna move to North Colck Town. But before that, I don't know if you've noticed, but there was a ferry that was going around in Clock Town. You've probably seen it. It is this ferry right here that you're gonna see flying in a couple seconds. Right here. So this ferry at night is here, but during the day it's in Laundry Pool. And it's you can grab the ferry with nothing in Laundry Pool. It's very easy. But here at night it's really high up. So to get it, you can use there are a couple different ways. You can use the Deku flower to grab it in the air. Uh, you can use the Goron pound under the ferry to grab it, or you can use the Great Fairy Mask. That's the only use the Great Fairy Mask has, by the way. You can also jump with Zora Mask from the balcony here to grab the ferry, but that's not very reliable. All right, this ferry is gonna be important, but for now, I want to talk about probably the most hardcore time sensitive check in this randomizer, and it's the old lady robbery. So at midnight on night 1, specifically midnight on night 1. So the old lady is gonna come from Termina Field, and she's about to come up right now. There you go. So at 12:20, this thief is gonna come out of these things over there and steal the old lady and try to steal the old lady's bag. So to stop him, all you need to do is just slash the bag, and there you go. In the randomizer, this whole cutscene of him escaping is cut out, so it's faster. All right. This check has other implications in the game, but keep in mind that you need to be in North Colck Town before, I think it's around 12:15 for the robbery to take place. So this is a check, but in the vanilla game it gives you the blast mask. But since I already have it, she gave me nothing. But yeah, so this is a check. I guarantee you this is a check. If you get into North Colck Town and the old lady is loaded in, if you leave and then come back, even if you are before 12:15, the lady will disappear and you will miss the check. And you'll have to play Song of Time and set it up again to do it. So be very careful. You need to stay in North Colck Town if she's loaded in. Alright, for the next 2 checks, we are going to go into this grotto right here. So this is the fairy fountain. So remember that stray fairy that we got in East Clock Town? There are two checks attached to that fairy. One of them is as Human Link. All you have to do is, the cutscene is very long, so I don't really want to, trigger it, but if you go and give that fairy, you will get a check, and the second check is any of the non-human transformations. If you walk there with the fairy, you will get another check. However, to get both checks, you have to leave the fountain and then come back in. And then you can do the second check. So you need to do one check as either Human Link or non-Human Link, then leave, then come back as the other one. If you're wondering why there are two checks, one of them is the magic meter and the other is the Great Fairy Mask in the vanilla game. So that's why there are two checks. So, next up is going to be Deku Playground. So this is a minigame that its layout changes depending on which day you do it. So on day 1, the platforms will be moving up and down. So this one is very easy to do casually. Like casually, it's probably the easiest. However, if you do it on day 2, the platforms, instead of going up and down, they're gonna move sideways all over the place. You'll see. Just gonna showcase the difference. There you go. So this is a bit harder, but the good thing about this specific layout is that you can cheese it. And to do that, when you enter the place, I suggest, depending on your controller, I suggest equipping the mask. Equipping any transformation mask. Probably Deku, but... So, when you enter, you can just mash the transformation mask. So if you mash it, you need to mash it 9 times, and once you do that, the rupees will have fallen off of the platforms, and you can just go under there and just get all the rupees. And the great thing about doing this is that the minigame costs 10 rupees, so if you just get the rupees, it will give you exactly the money you need to play the game. So, once you've gotten all the rupees, you can just get in the flower and just leave immediately and the game's over. And there you go. By the way, this check is open all day, every day, and I think it closes at 11 p.m. I'm pretty sure it's 11 p.m. at night on every day, so it's very, like, the time frame is very generous. You just have to do this minigame once. In the base game, there's a piece of heart attached to doing Deku Playground on all 3 days, but in standard settings, that check is not randomized. So you can do that check any day. You only need to do one of the days, and it's good. Alright, next check is, there's a piece of art right there. You can just get it at any point, at any time. One of the easiest ways to do it is just to go on the logs right here, and then jump your way to the tree. You can shortcut those jumps right this way. You can go up there as Goron, you can go up there as Link, but you need to mash A before climbing the thing. So you just jump to the tree, and there you go. By the way, next is Tingle. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to jump to this tree, I strongly suggest to not roll before jumping. Otherwise, you might get like way too far and just go past the piece of art. Okay, so next up is Tingle. I don't really want to go into how Tingle works in this video, but know that there are 6 Tingles in the game, and they all sell maps. If you want me to go in detail about how Tingle works, I can do that in another video, but in this one, maybe not. So, there are a couple ways. So this Tingle, you need to just burst the balloon. You can do that with any projectile. So with bow, with hookshot, with Zora fins, or with Deku bubbles. You can just pop the balloon. So, and there's another way to get it out of logic from this tree. So with your sword, you can actually jump slash Tingle's balloon. Okay, I failed it. I'm just gonna showcase it. What's happening with the lighting? There you go. The timing is kind of precise, but you can get used to it very easily. So, Tingle is going to sell you maps here. So he has 2 maps. So, the Clock Town one, note that the Clock Town one is almost always going to be grabbed at this Tingle, the 5 rupee one. So, yeah. For now, let's just think about this one. Next up, I'm actually gonna go to night 3 now. So I'm gonna play Song of Double Time a couple times. And I'm going to go to night 3. So, saving the old lady actually has influences on West Clock Town. So, and I want to show, exactly how. We're gonna finish the checks in North Clock Town first, but you'll see why I chose to talk about these 2 regions together. So, our next check is going to be the Keen Quiz. This check is also, just like the mailboxes, it's not attached necessarily to North Clock Town. It used to be, but not anymore. You can do this check in North Clock Town, you can do it in Milk Road, and you can do it in Mountain Village. I'm gonna show exactly how when I get to those areas. So all you have to do is to wear the Keen Mask, and just slash this very agitated patch of grass. And as long as you're wearing the mask, this fox will appear. And so you can talk to the mask and to the fox, and he's gonna ask you 5 questions. Now these answers are always the same. If you want, I mean, I learned them by heart at this point, but you can Google the answers to the Keen Quiz very easily, and it's not that hard to find. So, 6. There you go. After 5 questions, there you go. That's a check. Alright, the last check in North Clock Town is popping this balloon with, again, any projectile will do it. And you go and talk to this guy, he's gonna be very impressed that you popped this balloon. And you're gonna play hide and seek with the whole bomber squad. You need to talk to this kid as Child Link, as Human Link. It's really important. And what's nice about this hide and seek is that they are terrible at hide and seek. So there's one when you start the minigame, there's one directly on your right. So you can just get the kid. Now you need to catch them, but any projectile that you've used to pop the balloon, you can use it to slow them down. So you can shoot them with a bow, you can use your hook shot, you can use Zorfins, Deku Bubbles, and it will slow them down. So there were two in North Colck Town. There's one here in East Colck Town. Like I said, you can just use any projectile to slow them down and make them very easy to catch. By the way, this chicken right there, small parenthesis, you can actually use this chicken to enter the stock pot in at night when it's locked. So I'm just gonna show you how to do it, just as a side note. If you're doing the Bombers side quest, or Bombers hide and seek, you can use this chicken to get into the stock pot in right here. Alright, so there's a Bomber right here as well. This one is probably the most annoying to catch. I didn't think I was gonna catch him there. Whoops. But if you have trouble with him, if you enter this loading zone right here, the Bomber is gonna spot you and is gonna fall off the roof instantly, and you can just hit it with any projectile to stun it and just catch him. And the very last Bomber is in West Colck Town. You literally just enter this zone right here, and he's right there. You cannot miss him. And there you go. By the way, this item, the Bomber's Notebook, hopefully you never find that item because it wastes you time in rando. Alright, so remember, saving the old lady, as I said earlier, has consequences in the world, in this cycle. If you save the old lady, she's gonna still have the bag she was carrying, and in that bag was the big bomb bag. And now the original bomb bag is gonna be replaced by the big bomb bag, which is a different check than the original bomb bag. If you have not saved the old lady, this will still be the original bomb bag. If you have saved the old lady, it will become the big bomb bag, and it's for sale for 90 rupees instead of 50. And finally, in West Colck Town, this place that's called the Curiosity Shop. This only opens at 10 p.m. It's open at any day. However, on night 3 at 10 p.m., if you have saved the old lady this cycle, I think it closes us at 5 a.m. too, but if you've saved the old lady, there will be the all-night mask, or the item that is in the place of the all-night mask, for 500 rupees. So it's behind 2 wallets, but you can peek it early, at least. So if you've saved the old lady at the end of your first cycle, you can look at what it is, and then know ahead if you're gonna need 2 wallets or not. So that's it for North and West Colck Town. There are only 2 areas left to see, which are East Colck Town and Laundry Pool. So I'm gonna start with East Colck Town. So East Colck Town is pretty infamous for its minigames, I want to say. I'm gonna give myself some money here. So it has 3 of them. The first one I want to talk about is this one right here, because it's the most frustrating one by far. So this minigame you can do as any form, but there's only one of these checks that is randomized, and it's as Goron Link. It's gonna cost 30 rupees, and there's gonna be a chest right there. And the goal is to navigate the maze and try to get to the exit. However, the maze is completely RNG, so just have to hope to be lucky. Okay, so here, however, what's cool about this minigame is that you can cheat. In this corner right here, you don't even need to roll, wow. Okay, so if you go in this corner right here, as long as you don't have any other pillars that are rising, like those 2 black squares are not rising up, you can actually just roll directly in the corner of the pillar, and you can just clip through it. It is allowed. There's another way to clip through the pillar from the front, but I'm not very good at it, so I don't go for it. And it's not really needed, so I don't really care about it. Alright, so that was the minigame. It's somewhat frustrating, but especially at first. But after, since we allowed cheating, it's pretty free. Alright, so there are 2 other minigames here. One of them is on... they're both available at any point during the day. So, during any day, all 3 of these minigames, by the way, they're available from 6 AM to... I think they all depend. This one is available, I think, up until 9:30. This one, the shooting minigame, is available up until, I think, 10 p.m. And this one is available, I think, up until 9 p.m. I think 9, yeah, something like that. So, this minigame right here is different. It's Honey and Darling. It's different. The pattern is different depending on which day you are on. So if you're on day 1, you're going to have to do this minigame and hit all these targets with bomb shoes, which is by far the hardest one. Like, it's not even close. If you do it on day 2, there will be baskets that you are going to throw bombs into all over the place. It is, I think, the easiest one. And then on day 3, it's going to be a bunch of targets again, but you have to shoot them with the bow or Deku Bubbles, which I pray to you that you don't have to use Deku Bubbles. So, yeah, so depending on the day, if you want to do this check on day 1, you're going to need a bomb bag. If you want to do this check on day 2, you're also going to need a bomb bag. And on day 3, you need the bow or Deku Bubbles, or Deku and Magic. You only need to do one of these mini games. There is a heart piece attached to doing all 3 of them, but it is not shuffled in standard settings. So you will never have to do this. Alright, so next up, I'm gonna keep the shooting minigame for later, because I'm gonna need time of day. So, this place right here is the mayor's office. There are 2 chicks in here. One of them is Sphere 0, you need nothing, which is where we're gonna go. Any point from 10 AM to 8 PM, if you come talk to Madame Aroma here, I already have the cafe's mask, which is why she's not giving me any item. But if you talk to her at any point from 10 AM to 8 PM, she will give you an item. The next one is behind the couple's mask. So the check, the Enju and Cafe's quest that gives you the couple's mask, that check is not shuffled, but the couple's mask is still randomized. So you can still find the couple's mask somewhere, and doing this check with the couple's mask is randomized. It is a check. So all you need to do is the same time frame as talking to Madame Aroma. You just come here wearing the couple's mask in that meeting, and there you go. That's a check. So it looks kind of hard to route on paper, but all you have to do is get in front of this door, play Song of Double Time to just fast forward to night 1 or night 2, and you can just do this check right away. On night 3, however, both these checks are available every day except night 3. Night 3, they're all gone. So from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on night 3, you cannot do this check. Alright, so moving on. Remember the code that we got from the Bombers minigame? If you don't, I also don't because it doesn't matter, but it is required in logic to do this next check. So this kid right here will ask for the code from the Bombers, and I really didn't remember it at all. However, you can easily just backflip over this kid. It's really easy. You just go diagonally and you backflip, and it will work every time. So to do this check, there's a cracked wall in this place on your left here. You swim through the water. If you have Goron or Zoro, it's faster, so you can wear them. And there's a cracked wall here that you can explode with bombs or the blast mask. And there's a chest right here. Or you can use a powder keg if you're that kind of person. Or like if you only have a powder keg and you don't really know what to do with it, you can use it here. But it's not going to be in logic with the powder keg. It's only going to be in logic with bombs or with blast mask. And this check is considered part of South Colck Town, and it's really, really, really easy to forget, so be careful. Alright, our next check in South Colck Town is gonna be over here. So, if you jump, which is gonna do the whole way again so you don't get lost. If you go right to where the straw balcony is, you can jump. Oh, you actually need to roll jump. Okay, the devs knew. The devs knew that we'd be figuring it out. You need to roll jump here, and here you can just jump on the targets and get to this place here. And there's a check right here. This is Sphere 0. You don't need anything in logic to do this. Alright, so finally, this mini game right here. Yeah, like I said, it's available up until 10 or 10:30. It's available very late at night, so on all 3 days. This one is available on all 3 days. The other 2 are not. The other 2 are not available on night 3. This one is still available on night 3. So what you need to do in this minigame, you need to shoot every red Octorok. You need to shoot 40 of them. So it doesn't matter which ones exactly. You just need to shoot the red Octoroks. You need to shoot 40. And you can even miss some, like, oh no, I missed a red Octorok. What am I gonna do? You don't need to shoot all of them. You just need to shoot 40 before the time runs out. If you shoot blue Octoroks, your timer will go down. Like for example, if I shoot this one right here, boom, I lost 3 seconds. This minigame might require some practice, because it's not easy, quote unquote. So, yeah, so I got 40 now. And there you go. That's a check. Shooting every single one is not randomized. Okay, yeah, it closes at 10. Alright, good to know. So, shooting all of the red Octoroks is a check, but it is not randomized. You only need to shoot the 40. Alright, so final checks in East Clock Town have to do with this area that's called the Milk Bar. It only opens at 10 p.m. It opens at 10 p.m. on... Oh, wait. No, it's not all of them. Wait. You'll see. It's not all of them. But this... pretty much all the remaining checks have to do with the milk bar. So, what you need to have the Romani's mask, which is this cow thing. And you need all 3 transformation masks. So you need Deku, Goron, and Zora, and Romani's mask. What you need to do is talk to this guy as every single one of your transformation. Go into the correct spotlight. He's going to tell you exactly which one it is. And you have to play a very bad song. That song sucks. Like, it really does. So, we're gonna go through the whole thing. This check has been sped up quite thankfully. It's been sped up in the current randomizer. So you don't see this whole, like, the whole cutscene there. You only see part of it. Thankfully. Alright. I'm very sorry again for the terrible song. I mean, I didn't make this game, but... So, this check used to be absolutely horrible, but now it's like, it's viable. It's not an instant last location. It's about as fast as a minigame, so... But in the, you know, in the original game, it's super slow. Also, this check will copy the sounds you use for your instruments. They will be used also for this check. So, shoutouts to Vidya James has a very funny video of 4 Goron babies singing this song. So, alright. Once you've done all of this, you will receive this item from this guy. And there you go. Also, if you finish this check as Child Link, it glitches the game, and now you run fast for no reason. You don't actually run faster, it's just your animation is faster, and if you have the bunny hood, it's even funnier. You just zoom through the place. Alright. So, last 2 checks in East Clock Town. I'm gonna cheat. We're gonna fast forward to night 3. By the way, this check is only... The check that I just did is only available on nights 1 and 2 from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. It's the same schedule as Curiosity Shop. Alright. The last 2 checks in East Clock Town require an item called the Express Mail. Or the letter to Mama. It's this letter right here in my inventory. There are 2 checks directly attached to that one, which is kind of annoying, but there are ways to check both of them. These checks can only be done during night 3. So you have two options. You can either give a... Fortunately, I'm on KZ, so on the practice ROM, so I can just cheat and give myself multiple letters. But in reality, all right, let's see. But in reality, in a seed you will only have one of them at the time per cycle. What you can do is you can save scum it using... Oh wow, okay, that's funny. You can save scum it using the save file. So you can just save an owl statue, copy your file, and then load up one of them, check what's on one of the two checks, and then load up the second one. So one of these checks is giving the letter directly to the mailman, the express mail. It's only on night 3. It's at any point during night 3 you can do this. You give the mailman the letter. And the other check requires... So for the mailman, it requires only the letter. But for the second one, it also requires Cafe's mask. So what you need to do is get into the milk bar again. At any point, if you get into the milk bar before 10 p.m., you will not need Romani's mask. If you get in the milk bar after 10 p.m., you will need Romani's mask. So if you do this early in the night, which is usually when people are going to do it, you can talk to Madame Aroma here and give her the express mail. And she's going to give you an item. This item is shuffled. And otherwise, if you gave the letter to the mailman, he will come here and deliver it to Madame Aroma himself. And once he's done that, I'm actually gonna take an item off from my inventory. Oops. Once he's done that and he's had a little chat with Madame Aroma, he's gonna leave the milk bar. And he's gonna be joining us up here. He is gonna stay there the whole night. So it takes about an hour and a half for him to do this. Wait, an hour and a half? No. It's 2 hours and a half, I think. Or around that. Around 2 hours, let's say that. So if you talk to him after that, he's gonna be in East Colck Town, and there you go. You're gonna get an item. So those are pretty much the checks in East Colck Town. Like I said, you can like copy your save file from an owl statue and save scum your express mail. Yep, there you go. You can't enter the bar from 9 p.m. And from 10 p.m. and forward, you will need the Romani's mask to enter. Or does it work right now? Yeah, 10 p.m. So that's pretty much it for the checks in East Colck Town. So as you can see, it's one of the densest areas in the game. I'm just curious. Okay, there are no targets. Okay, so there's only one area left in the Colck Town walls, and it's the laundry pool. And there are only 4 checks attached to that area. but they are very there's things that are very specific to that area. And there's a reason why I wanted to save it for last. Alright, so let's get back to laundry pool. Right here. So I talked about the ferry. During the day, the ferry is here, and you can just grab it. You don't need any item. It's perfectly logic. So during night 1 and during night 2, Guru Guru is gonna be here. And you can just talk to him during night 1 and during night 2 at any point, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And he's just gonna give you a mask or an item. That's a Sphere 0 check. So the rest of the checks in Laundry Pool are all attached to one very specific item, that is the letter to cafe. So this item right here, this letter. So how exactly it works, you have to mail this letter at any point before day 2 at 11:30. And depending, because the postman goes from gets a tour of the place. You've probably seen him go, like, run here and there. So he's gonna go around and just collect the mail in every single mailbox. And depending on depending on what time it is, depending on which mailbox you use, the time in which he goes by them is going to be different. But to be safe, I'd say mail this letter in this mailbox all the time, because it's the last one he does. So, and he only gets there at about 11:30. I think a bit before 11:30, something like 11:25. So, what you need to do is you mail this letter, again, any point before day 2 at 11:30 a.m. At any point in this mailbox is going to do it. And then during the day, during the day 2 afternoon, the mailman is going to come deliver this letter here. And this will give you access to this area right here. Honestly, I don't really know the time frame in which you can get into this place. I think it's like something like 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. I think on day 2. But honestly, I just don't care. I just fast forward to night 2 here, and then you can just go in. So if you go in here, you can talk to Cafe. So again, the couple's mask, the check of the Engine Cafe side quest, the final check is not shuffled, but every check on that side quest is still shuffled, and this is one of them. So yeah, you just, honestly, I think the best trick here, you just fast forward to night 2, and you can do this check instantly. So that's the second check. There are 2 more checks attached to this area, and you can do them on night 3. And what's important with those next 2 checks is you cannot do them if you have saved the old lady this cycle. Remember the old lady robbery in South Colck Town? If you've stopped the robbery, you will not be able to do these 2 checks. This has to do with some Engine Cafe lore that I don't really feel like explaining, but that's the big picture is that you want to do this, don't save the old lady. And if you haven't saved the old lady, uh, you can get in here on night 3. Like at any point, you can just fast forward to night 3, and this guy, the Curiosity Shop guy, will be there, and you get 2 checks out of him. You get the Kinemask check, and you get the Express Mail check, and that's it. So that's pretty much every check within the walls of Clocktown. I don't think I've missed any one of them. All these checks are considered South Colck Town, North Colck Town, West Colck Town, East Colck Town, Laundry Pool, and Stockpot Inn. So these are the 6 regions within the walls of Clocktown. So that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope it was good for learning. And I will be posting, my next video is going to be on Termina Field and Romany Ranch. So, yeah, have a good one, everyone.